praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of your elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Will the U.S. Lose the U.S.-China Trade War? So, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last week, you should know that there's a trade war between China and the U.S. Trump called for tariffs on a number of nations, and they capitulated. They're ready to sit down and talk. His plan was for all of them to talk. Mainly, number one on the list was China. China is not backing down. China's system is 5,000 years old compared to the U.S., which is not even 250 years old. That's a lot of wisdom right there. A lot of experiences. Anyway, you can watch this whole video, which I'm not going to play it, but I stopped right here. Pretty much, you know what I'm going to do? Let me, okay, this is 3:48. Let me come back. So I got to play it. I mean, I can hit the closed caption. But as you can see in the little box, Trump thought that China was gonna crawl to him, on hands and knees, begging to, do a deal. Maybe he can take those tariffs off. But what happened was it backfired on him. It seems like it backfired on him, because his goal was to have these manufacturers come back to America, which will be a complete disaster. Complete disaster. Because you look in China. In China, the workers, they'll get anywhere from 100 a week to 200 a week. That's their bring home, unless they tax that 100 too. But let's say they just get a straight up $100 to $200. That's 2, 4, 6. That's $800 a month. Here in the States, a decent apartment, we're talking $2,000, $1,500, $2,000, and you're making $800. If you make the 200, make the 100 a week, bring home that's $400. So in order to bring these manufacturers back to the States, you're gonna have to pay workers at least $50 an hour, which is gonna surge up prices. Either way, you're screwed. There was a reason why Nixon had that meeting with Chairman Mao back in '72, a year after taking gold off the gold standard. So he's realizing, it's not working. It's not working. What the best thing that he can do is he can take an L by having a meeting. He should go to China, have a meeting with the president, Xi, and pretty much make a deal. This bully on the block thing ain't working no more. They're getting old. Which the term is hegemony, the bully on the block. And China has weapons. Russia possesses hypersonic weapons. Korea possesses weapons. When I say weapons, I'm talking about missiles. And you have what's called the BRICS, You have the U.S., Babylon, you have Russia, the two world powers. Well, now you have Russia, China joining forces. China is another world power. You got three world powers: China, U.S., and Russia. And you have two world powers joining forces along with other nations. So it's gonna end badly for the U.S. if Trump doesn't do anything. But ultimately, you're gonna be destroyed any goddamn way. So it says here, Boeing is a major part of the U.S. economy, contributing an estimated $79 billion and supporting 1.6 million jobs, U.S. jobs, both directly and indirectly. That's a lot of jobs. More than 1,500,000 plus jobs. It has nearly 150,000 U.S. employees of its own. So I don't know how much the economy contributes. The fact is that China buys their planes from Boeing, so they're going to stop buying the planes, or they already have a tariff, 125% tariff. Trump went from I believe it was 25 to 50 to 100, and he kept going up. So now he has to backtrack. He made a big mistake. Hey, the old saying, fools rush in. He's a fool. So he's gonna have to kiss a little ass. Get back in the good graces of China. China's a major economy. And it's humanly impossible to build factories overnight. And then you need trained workers. It's a disaster. And plus, if it all worked, which I said, I'm going to say it again, let's say by miracle everything is built overnight. Okay, we got the factories, we got the workers. You're still going to have to pay the workers. We're going to medical, dental, vacation, different perks, maybe stock in whatever manufacturer they work for, and they got to start with about $50,000. $50 an hour. So anyway, let me go right here. I'm gonna give you some precepts. So this is kind of going viral. This Moabite is my wash pot. Over Edom I will cast out my shoe. So the Most High is using Moab. So this guy, he's spitting straight facts. And this is on Kim Iverson show, which I watch her on Roku, and I knew she was on YouTube, but I thought they kicked her off. She's still on YouTube. I subscribe to her. Very good show. It says we're losing the tariff war with China. How our elites sold us out. So you got to listen to this. Well, this is 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes and change long. So you can watch it from the very beginning, or you can come right here, and he just tells the truth. Basically, what he tells the U.S. citizens is to you got to start the R word against your country, and he goes into the elite have sold you out. And then I believe he says that he has matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me go ahead and play some of it, but I'm gonna put, let me see something here. Okay. It says your own I'm sorry, let me go back. Here. China so that kind of backfire. Okay, wait a minute. The inward thought is that their houses will remain forever, right? It says they're being opened up, like you can now travel to China, buy the goods. Right, they're telling U.S. citizens and others to come to China, buy goods yourself, and bring it back to America and sell it. You know, that which is a black market. Okay, bring back personal items and then sell them in the United States for more. I don't know how feasible that is. I mean, okay, I'm sorry. Let me do this. I want to go to this guy. Okay, here he is right here. Okay, he's just going to come out and spit facts. He said, your own fault, and America now needs a R word. They rob you blind, and you thank them for it. And that's true. You thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. America, you don't need a tariff. You need a R word. For decades, your government and oligarch, which are the rich. That's why after Trump won the presidency, who did he have around him? There's pictures of him with Bezos and Elon Musk. He used you red hats, you MAGA people, as a background to get back into the office. Government and oligarchs don't ship jobs to China. Government and oligarchs won't ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but like you have NAFTA. Look that up. That was during the time of the Clinton, and that destroyed the economy even more. It's a peace, but to explore cheap labor. That's what the meeting. Nixon going over to China talking to Mao Zedong, the chairman Mao. It was to take all these major companies and ship them to China for cheap labor. Now you got all these multi-billionaires in China, and in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crashed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we use it to build roads, leave millions. American, like if you go to certain parts in New York City, like the Bronx, for example, it's like a third world country. Those roads there's pothole after pothole. The mayor, what's this guy, Eric Adams? He puts no money back into the city. What they do is they'll give you tickets for parking too long someplace, not putting money in the meter, the red light cameras. It's all about revenue coming in. Okay, found out of property fund, healthcare, rise, living standards. We reinvest in our people. My family also benefit from it. But he's straightforward, man. You know, he's coming from the heart, and I believe he's speaking in English. I mean, I'm positive he is. Let me let you. This is fair use.
Golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and pour billions into endless wars.
Pour billions in endless wars. So this is coming out, and truth be told, China really doesn't have to get with them. They don't need America because they have trade deals with other nations, Europe, you had J.D. Vance curse out. I believe it was NATO and the EU. I believe it was the NATO nations. All I got to do is look it up. And he cursed them out. Trump, in the last time he was president, he referred to certain nations as shithole countries. Well, guess what? Put U.S. on the list, because that's a shithole country. The scriptures say shameful spewing shall. Matter of fact, I'll get that. Let me just do this here. Give me a second. That's in Habakkuk, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, this is a video. Nate speaks Hebrew, but I thought he didn't know Hebrew. Let me see. Give me a second here. Bring up the blue letter. I'm almost positive that's Habakkuk. Okay, shameful. Let me try it this way. Okay, let me do it this way. There's one L. Habakkuk 2 verse 16. Let me read Jeremiah 11:13. For according to the number of thy cities over thy gods, O Yahweh, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem, have ye set up altars to that shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal. Jake is into that. See, that's why Jake is coming against it. You don't follow them camps and don't be an Israelite. And I used to be an Israelite and I left Israel because these guys are wicked and they're corrupt and they're not Israelites. Well, you just move on with them. Our job is to just reach the elect. But the others have to hear it. It has to be put in their ears. So then they can know that it has been a prophet among them. So don't worry about them. What does 2nd Ezra 15, the first couple of verses read? They shall die in their unfaithfulness. Let not the incredulity, the unbelief. It says they shall die in their unfaithfulness, in their unbelief. So leave them alone. More people among our people are going to die than make it. Okay, this is what I wanted. Habakkuk 2, verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Because one time, America was the great melting pot. The streets were paved with gold, right? It said, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Let thy nakedness be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Now, a lot of times when you read certain scriptures, they at one time applied to Israel, but now they apply to Esau. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We're living in Esau's, the last days of Esau's rulership. That's a topic right there. The last days of Esau's rulership. How do we know? How do we know if we say this is the time of Esau? How do we know that? Well, go to the Apocrypha. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Jacob represents righteousness. Esau represents wickedness. So how do we know that Jacob's not in power? Because if Jacob was in power, everybody, all the other nations would be in captivity. We would have crowns on our head, and we would be ruling. We'd be kicking ass. That's how you know. This is why Esau said, "Oh, the Edomites are done away with," and you're lying to yourself. So now let me go here. Where is this? Where is this? Where did I put this? Okay, I made this easy for myself. Now, I typed in the word shame, shameful spewing in Habakkuk, and it came up 100 times in 98 verses. And I just started checking off some of them. This is in the Old and the New Testament. Very first scripture that mentions the word shame, and this applies to Israel, right? It says Exodus 32 verse 25, and when Moses saw that the people were naked, what did it mean by the people were naked? That they committed sin. It doesn't mean that they were literally naked. And Aaron had made them naked. Aaron didn't tell them to take their clothes off, unto their shame among their enemies. So the Most High is making Esau naked and shame among their enemies. You screwed over a lot of nations, and one of them is China, and they want you back. Japan, they remembered the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, so like I said, I checked off some of them. Job 8 and 22. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame. Who hates us? Esau is number one on the list. Psalms 83. And the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught, shall be utterly destroyed. In our time, not 1,000 years from now. You heard Al-Azhar say, "Oh, we can be here for the next 1,000 years." And we got on him about it. The only camp that got on him, and he said, he came back and said, "Well, you niggas, you taught me that. Please show me the video where I said we're going to be here for another 1,000 years. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that desire my hurt." And that's number one on the list are the Edomites. Psalm 40 and 15. Let them be desolate, a desert. Ultimately, that's what they're going to be, that place. For reward of their shame, they say unto me, "Aha, aha." They look down on us. When you type in the word rich, and you read all the precepts or the scriptures for rich, it tells you that the rich despise the poor. The rich hate the poor. They look down upon the poor. We represent the poor. And when we get into our power, it's in their glory we shall what? We shall boast ourselves. Isaiah 61. But thou hast saved us from our enemies. And we have more than one enemy, but we always talking about number one on the list. It has put them to shame that hated us. That's why you got Edomites saying, "Can't we all live together?" Yeah, we can live together. We'll be the master and you be the slave. And we lived together in chattel slavery, right? We were together. Jacob and Esau were together. They were close. But the positions were different. Psalms 109:29. Let mine adversaries be clothed with shame. and let them cover themselves with their own confusion as with a mantle. A mantle is a cape. So they're going to be covered with shame. You got a mantle and it starts raining, you put that mantle, you totally cover yourself. So the Most High got the right man in there, Trump. And he's destroying, they better do something, man. His cabinet is lined up to kiss his ass. And he getting ready to line himself up to kiss Z's ass. That's what he better do. Sometimes you gotta humble yourself. Sometimes you gotta say you made a mistake. But something will happen where everything should come back to normal, because, you know, when you go to Revelation chapter 18, it speaks about how they're gonna mourn because they're not gonna become rich anymore, and not too many words. Because it will hurt China if the U.S. doesn't accept any of their products. But it won't destroy them. The U.S. needs China more than China needs the U.S. at this point in time. You have American cars. All the parts are made in China and sometimes manufactured in Mexico. I mean, the dealer parts. There's another video, and it's on the Kim Iverson show also, but another video where they're showing you how, and I did a video on it where you get these high-end bags that come from Italy and wherever, mainly Italy and France. They say it's made in Italy and made in France and has those different names, those high-end names. Well, it's coming out that all that shit is made in China, and it's super cheap. It might cost a quality bag, that's like $40,000, might cost less than $1,000 to assemble. You got a good quality bag, but it might be a $300, $400 bag, but they put the label on it, and you're paying for the label, and that's what so-called these boneheaded black women do. They get these Louis Vuitton, they get the top names in the fashion world, and it makes them feel good about themselves. That's why I say stay away from these hyenas, man. If anything, get you a woman of another tribe that's decent. The last woman that you want to get with is Jake. That's the last woman you want to get with, man. These Jakes in the NFL and the NBA, the ones of them that get them Edomite wives, they doing good. They have children. The children come out looking like Puerto Ricans, and everything's good. Everybody's happy. And if that Edomite woman allows you to have children, she's connected to you, man. But see, the problem is you can't marry him. But they don't know that. And the Jake man, they're not into the Jake woman anyway. You meet a Jake woman, you already know. I got with this one woman, Jake woman, and she really didn't do nothing wrong. And I cut her off. And if she would have asked me, why did I cut you off, what did I do? I said, you didn't do nothing. I said, well, it's what you're going to do a month from now or 2 months from now. You're going to act out. And you can see she was, if you saw her, if you saw her, you would see, yeah, she's one of them women that will act out. She'd be cool, then all of a sudden, that demon will pop out of her. So I just cut her the fuck off. I think I told her, why don't you grow up, bitch? Something like that. And I hung the phone up on, this was years ago. It says, and I'm not saying it to all, Jake. There's some decent ones out there, but we're talking maybe 5% of them are decent. So, you know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You know, you meet a Jake woman, she's all smiles and giggles, but then the demon pop out, man. Then she wants you to buy shit. She wants you to buy expensive shit, and If you making 100,000, you ain't making enough for the. That's why nobody wants you. Nobody wants you. Real talk. And these Edomite women, they crave the Jake man. So it says Proverbs 11 verse 2, when pride cometh, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rocks. It says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. This man have lived pridefully, if that's a word. But now cometh shame. His shame comes. Like I said, the inward thought. I'm watching this so-called black woman right now. She's dancing in the street like they're fucking animals, man. They're fucking animals. That's why you think I call, and it's catching. Brothers in GMS are starting to use the word hyenas. Because get a snapshot of a hyena, and it looked just like, Waquina down the street. Some of these bitches look like hyenas, man. There's nothing noble looking about a hyena. Lions, you see a male lion, you smile. That's a noble look. Male lions are handsome. Female lions are beautiful. The cubs are adorable. You take a hyena, a newborn hyena. That's why you think I call them hyenas? It's gonna catch on. They fucking they look like hyenas. They look like hyenas with makeup on. And they do what hyenas do. So keep pushing that hyena word. Keep pushing. That's the new. That's hashtag hyenas. Hashtag hyenas. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is what? Wisdom. We're the lowly, the poor, are with wisdom. Proverbs 13 and 5, a righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame. And that somebody is in a shameful position right now. See, when you're in a shameful position, that's when you humble yourself. You get back with the good graces. Or you get your house in order. Isaiah 47 and 3. It says, thy nakedness. Whose nakedness? Esau's nakedness. Babylon's nakedness. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. When you look up the word vengeance, it's payback. For what you did to the Israelites and what you did to Yahushua 2,000 years ago. Okay. Jeremiah 13 and 26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. So we're living in the fulfillment of Habakkuk 2:16. Shameful spewing shall be upon their glory. Reversal of fortune. We'll read a couple more and then I'm going to get ready to close it. But watch that viral video of the Chinese guy. Okay, let's see what Jeremiah 51 and 51 says. We are confounded because we have heard reproach, shame have covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuary of the Lord's house. Yes, that's the fulfillment of the abomination that maketh desolate. And I'm gonna look that up. The abomination. When you hear that scripture, if you're not versed in the scriptures, and you ask a Christian, what does it mean by the abomination shall make desolate? Oh, it's the Antichrist. So let's look that up. Let me see. The abomination that maketh desolate. We can go to Matthew 24, I believe. Matthew 24. Let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24. Let me try this. Holy place. Okay, I got it. Matthew 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, or the abomination that makes desolate, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, that's in Daniel 9. Stand in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. So now let me see. This is not talking about Antiochus Epiphanes, although he entered into the holy place and desolated it. It's talking about Titus, the Roman general Titus, the son of Vespasian, the Roman emperor. So now let me see. Let me go to the... I just want to see what the commentary says. Commentary. Okay. Then I'm going to close. Wait a minute, where's Cambridge at? Cambridge is down here. The abomination of desolation is abomination of desolation that maketh desolate. The act of sacrilege, which is a sign of the cause of desolation, with special sacrifice the man. Okay, let me see. The expression may refer to the besieging army. Well, that's true. The parallel passage, Luke, I believe that's Luke. Well, Luke 19 and Luke 21. When ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. When did that happen? When the Romans took over. When the Romans came and besieged the land. Then they mention translates Daniel 9 and 7. I mentioned Daniel 9 and 27. So it's not talking about the Antichrist, and Daniel 9 and 27 already took place. Christians say, well, that's talking about the rapture, because they don't understand the scriptures, right? In the sense, until the wing or army of abominations shall make desolate the Roman eagle. So I don't got to read no more. They even make reference to the Zealots and Josephus. So when you ask an average, everyday, run-of-the-mill Christian about what's the abomination that maketh desolate, I bet you if you ask God Logic, he don't know. He'll say the Antichrist. You already know he don't know what the fuck he talking about. Excuse my French. And it's not, like I said, it's not talking about now. When Yahushua said that in Matthew, spoke about it in Matthew 24, Luke 19, Luke 21, also in Daniel 12. It's also mentioned in Daniel 12 and in Daniel 9 and in the Josephus. It goes into detail in Josephus. But an average Christian will say, oh, that's the Antichrist. There's one guy with a Brooks Brothers suit on. If you shave his head, it's 666 on the top of his head. Because they don't know. So when they say, well, you Hebrew Israelites, you just make shit up. Oh, really? So did the scholars make up, did they make this up too? Let me do this before I close. Who said this? One thing about them Israelites, they know them scriptures. Well, you suppose it. The scriptures say, study to show thyself approved. A workman needed not to be ashamed. You Christians are being put to shame. Let me try this. Okay, beautiful. Wow. So they pretty much all say the same thing. Ellicott's commentary for English readers, that the abomination stands in a holy place and therefore it cannot be identified with the appearance of the Roman eagle. What did it say? Cannot. Benson commentary, the abomination that maketh desolate, by which term is intended the desolating Roman armies. Ooh, I don't gotta read no more. Told you these scholars, these Christian scholars, they telling the truth. In the holy place, that's the temple, the treasury, not the town as invested by the Romans. Here's again, Jerusalem suddenly withdraws again in a most unexpected and impolitic manner. This conduct of the Roman general, which was Titus. Matthew 24 and 20. The horror is the Roman army. It's not the Antichrist, not an Edomite with a Brooks Brothers suit on. That's going to come before the rapture. Burns notes on the Bible. Now look at this. Rome is here 1, 2, Roman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. The Gentiles were all held in abomination by the Jews. Acts 10 and 28. The abomination of desolation means the Roman army. The Roman army. They make a reference to Daniel 9. The Daniel 9 is not talking about a rapture that's going to take place, and some of y'all going to be left behind. Daniel 9 took place already. Daniel 11 took place already. Some part of Daniel 12 took place. We're talking about the time of Jacob's trouble that's getting ready to take place. There it is again. To see the Roman army standing in the holy city. They went into the temple. They went into the treasury. What did they get in the treasury? They got gold and silver. Why was there gold and silver? Because the Levites collected money in offering and in tithes. When pursuant to Deuteronomy 16:16, you had to come 3 times. Your men had to come 3 times in a year, and they can't come empty-handed. They didn't bring cattle with them. They didn't bring wheat with them. What they brought with them was money. Remember the money changers. You had to pay. You couldn't pay with a coin. I believe it was called a drachma in Greece. So if you were an Israelite in Alexandria, Egypt, you probably had a drachma. So you would have to switch. You have to exchange it to the shekel, the Hebrew shekel, in order to make your offering. You couldn't do it with what do you call a Roman denarius, or the denarius, which is the Roman coin, which is the penny that the woman gave. She gave a penny. And also in Revelation 6, a penny is a day's wages for Roman soldiers. That was they made good money. So you had to exchange it to give it to the priest. So the priest had money. So what the hell is Nate talking about? Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next shalom.